The New York Yankees signed Marcus Stroman, free agent starting pitcher, came from the Chicago Cubs last season, native New Yorker, born and raised on Long Island. And we're here to talk to Joel Sherman of the New York Post about this move. Joel, how you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. A little busy day today, but it's good. We've been mainly not busy, Ryan, this offseason, so it's good to be busy.
Right. Obviously we had the arbitration deals come through today, but then the Yankees decided to bring in Marcus Stroman. So this deal, can you help us break it down and how the Yankees came to the conclusion we need to bring in Marcus Stroman?
Yeah, the Yankees reached agreement on a $31 million contract with Juan Soto, and somehow that became secondary news, only in Yankee land, right? Look, I think that this is a pretty simple situation to some degree, Ryan. The Yankees' first, second, third, ninth, 22nd pitching plan this offseason was Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Uh, they did not get him. They then went into a marketplace. They hated the price and trade that they were hearing at this point for Dylan Cease. They hated the numbers they were hearing free agent wise on Blake Snell. They strongly believe, all things being equal, Jordan Montgomery would probably prefer to go back to Texas than to come here. They are hearing over and over again in some way, either guys that they're concerned about health, future projections, or cost, or some combination of all of that they don't like. And yet they're staring, once you do Soto to join Cole and Judge in their prime, you can't just say, we don't like the prices on all the starting pitchers, we just won't add one, and we'll go with Clayton Beeter as our number 5 starter, or Will Warren. And so they had to get on the board with somebody. And Stroman's price, 2 years at $37 million, we should think about that price, Ryan. What does it say? He's 32 years old. He was an all-star last year. Frankie Montas, who pitched an inning and a third, got $16 million for 1 year. Think about what the industry, what the marketplace, which is screaming for starting pitching, is saying about Marcus Stroman. They're not saying it because they don't like the pitcher. They're saying it because they don't like the guy, or they have questions about the guy. And so the Yankees ultimately decided, hey, we'll try to bring in the guy. We'll hold our nose because we like the pitcher, especially in comparison to others, especially when you consider the price.
Right. So the price
That
is
was
what's
too much, Ryan. I'm sorry.
No, 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 no. The price is interesting. It does seem like a reasonable price when you talk about someone who has a career ERA below 4, sub 4, right?
It's
And
more than a reasonable price, Ryan. 2 years ago, at a somewhat similar age, an inferior pitcher in Jameson Taillon got 4 years at $60 million. I mean, pitch for pitch, Jameson Taillon is not as good a pitcher as Marcus Stroman.
Mhm.
And he got nearly, like almost double of what Stroman is getting at a very similar age. Again, it screams not about Marcus Stroman pitcher. It's about Marcus Stroman social media warrior and more.
So that's the interesting part there, because I think that ties a little bit into the price point that you're trying to make here is that what was the difference now? Is it because the Yankees were able to say, we'll take on the person, Marcus Stroman, because of that price point right there? And we know he's a good ground ball pitcher, and put the Yankees numbers aside at Yankee Stadium, even though it felt like mostly 2017. What is the difference now from 5 years ago when Brian Cashman said, that's not a guy we can see in our, playoff rotation. And now we can take him on and he's going to be one of our 5 guys to go to.
Yeah, I think in the column that will be in the Post, hopefully online at some point, nypost.com, and up tomorrow, I said if it was a math equation, it would be desperation plus desperation equals strange bedfellows. The Yankees are desperate and Stroman is desperate. And that made this marriage possible. If Stroman had a wide field and or the Yankees had other options they really liked, either financially or because of who the player was, this would not be the marriage that occurred. It's the marriage that occurred because the Yankees, again, can't just kick the can here. They had to get a pitcher. And let's not get lost here. Marcus Stroman was an all-star last year. He is an athletic, fierce ground ball machine. He'll be pitching to what I suspect will be a very good infield defense behind him. This should work if in a vacuum. We do not live in a vacuum. And so, the Yankees are, tempting some fate here. we've seen when they're desperate, hey, we need a shortstop, we need another bat. They ended up with Josh Donaldson. When they wanted another left-hand hitting corner outfielder, they've ended up with Alex Verdugo. When they wanted another starting pitcher they thought could beat the Astros in the playoffs, they ended up with Carlos Rodon. These guys would not win the best actor category as players. They are all very, very talented. They all have worn out welcomes in places because of other issues. And the Yankees are, with Donaldson gone, are still bringing these guys together. It means that Aaron Judge probably has a big workload ahead of him, not only on the field, but off the field. The Yankees need to be a cohesive group. And, you know, like you want to talk culture. Ultimately, the greatest deodorant is winning, right? David Wells was not a beloved character in the Yankee clubhouse, but the Yankees did a hell of a lot of winning when he was a Yankee. And so, you know, it all changes the narrative, or at least it alters it somewhat. And so if the Yankees do a lot of winning this year, then they'll probably be able to absorb these players and make the best of it. I do wonder when times get tough, and even for the best teams, times get tough for even the best, what this looks like. Again, big weight on Aaron Judge, Anthony Rizzo, Garrett Cole, others, to Aaron Boone in his walk year himself, to keep this all going in the right direction.
Yeah, certainly a lot of personas to manage for Aaron Boone in this
That's
situation.
an interesting word, persona. You're more diplomatic than I am, Ryan. Thank you.
But the final thing, I think, Joel, a lot of Yankees fans, when they reacted to this, when you breaking this news of what that deal is going to be, is what's next? Because there is still the question marks of Carlos Rodon, Nestor Cortez, Clark Schmidt's a nice 5-4 maybe, but, you know, isn't a guy you can really rely on, it seems like. But this rotation, how it's taking shape right now, it's Garrett Cole, what you rely on, and then seems like a bunch of question marks. So do you see Brian Cashman and this Yankees front office staying put with what they have now, or could they still be in the market for Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, or even in the trade market for a Dylan Cease, Corbin Burns, maybe even a Shane Bieber type?
Yeah, I think the answer to that is there's definitely still in the market, but I think what Stroman allows them to do in their mind is to now do this in not a frenzy, because they needed to add at least one. They needed to get Clayton Beeter or Will Warren out of the rotation and make Clark Schmidt their fifth starter, right? Which they've done. They would probably like to make Clark Schmidt their sixth starter, which we know in a world with Rodon and Cortez and Stroman, whatever, he's going to still make 20 starts.
Yeah.
But like that would be much more comfortable if he was the first line of depth, as opposed to somebody who's never pitched in the major leagues before, like Beeter or Warren, right? So I think, though, what this trade allows them to do is they don't like the current price on Cease. They don't like the current price on Snell. I don't think they're in love with the current price on Bieber, guys like this. So this allows them to sit there and go, are these the real prices, or are these the prices you're telling a desperate team? We're a little less desperate today than we were yesterday, and we could wait out the market. And if it turns out that Dylan Cease gets traded to the Dodgers and they're willing to pay the price the Yankees aren't, the Yankees will go, okay, we lost the guy, but we have Stroman. We are a little more comfortable. I just think this deal, part of the reasoning behind it for the Yankees is it allows them to attack the rest of the marketplace without a high level of desperation. With inspiration, because they're as all in as any team in baseball this year. And they probably know they're going to need to add another starter. Is that in February 1st or July 30th? Like, this team probably knows this. So they just as soon try to do it now. But they do want to see if they could get it at a price that currently is lower, either in free agency or trade, than they're hearing. And I think Stroman gives them the ability a little bit to take a deep breath and say, let's see where this market really ends up for Snell. Let's see where this market really ends up for Cease. I would look at those two players in particular.
Fascinating stuff, Joel. And we appreciate you as always, just breaking this down. I know that, like you said, it wasn't busy, but it got a little busy today, and appreciate you as always giving us some time, man.
All right, Ryan, all the best.